In Thailand's town of Lopburi, we lay our scene. This once great kingdom has been laid to ruin. Now great hordes of macaques rule this monkey fiefdom. Like preceding empires, we have our intrigues and dramas, palace scandals, secret trysts, coup d'etat, and a bloody rivalry that has raged for more than 3 centuries. As a protector of the temple troop, I have witnessed many a bloody battle. But last summer, that was all to change when 2 star-crossed lovers dared to go against troop tradition and follow their hearts. The world's greatest love story was to become a monkey's tale. Let me tell you how the saga unfolded. Lopburi is ruled by monkeys. There are 4,000 of us, and we run things in this town. But we're not all one big happy family. We are divided into 2 rival groups, and we are bitter enemies. First, there's my family, the Temple Troop. Occupying plum position in town, we are the keepers of the palace ruins. You could say we are the kings of the castle. There are many handsome monkeys in the Temple Troop, but the fairest of all the females is my cousin, Julieta. With her soft brown eyes and pale cap of hair, she is a pretty piece of flesh. As her cousin, it was my job to keep an eye on her. They call me Tybalt, defender of the Temple Troop. Juliet had always been a loyal member of the troop. But that summer, she would give up her comfortable life of privilege and do something that shocked us all. Life for the Temple Troop has always been easy. Some think we are spoiled and lazy, but that's the life we've been born into. Better luck to us. But on the other side of the road live the market monkeys, a ragtag bunch of scoundrels that live in the ghettos of the town. Our most hated rivals. Like hooligans with their heckling ways. They did bite their thumb at us. They are some of the meanest monkeys around. The old and the maimed, and the rejected, scratching out a living. The humans are forced to live behind cages to keep the market monkeys out. What a change that makes for us animals. Life's tough for those living amongst the squalor of the slums. They scavenge for whatever they can find, and as such, they've become street smart. Leading the charge for the market monkeys was a cavalier monkey called Romeo. With his Mohican hair, he attracted a following of mischief makers. Like many of the market monkeys, Romeo worked as a pickpocket and thief. It was he who started all the trouble way back last summer. Not that I was shy of a fight. Peace. I hate the word. The only thing that kept life on the even keel was the road separating the market monkeys from the temple troop. No one dared cross that road. When the sun went down that day so long ago now, things would change forever. It was the time of Thailand's Festival of Lights. During this night, sweethearts seal their love by releasing lanterns together. I guess it was a romantic night, under the full moon, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. The river carried along love's light, and lanterns filled the sky with high hopes. That night, love's light found its way to us. For that was the night when, from across the road, Romeo first saw my cousin, Juliet. It was love at first sight. Many had come to court Juliet, but none had won her heart. As is the way of pernickety females. But that night, there was some sort of enchantment in the air. When Juliet made her way down to the temple's boundary fence, Romeo decided to make his approach and cross the road. In so doing, he was breaking all the rules. Romeo infiltrated the temple with Knight's cloak to hide him. He was determined to make Juliet his. It was a shy approach. When they connected, the sparks flew. They were overcome by that tender thing called love. But there would be trouble ahead. For Romeo and Juliet's love was forbidden, and for long a love that could not be hidden. When dawn breaks over love's first day, the whole world is new in its light. But for Juliet, the sweetness of love's dawn was cursed by the revelation that her beau, Romeo, was a villain and a thief of the common market monkeys. Her only love sprung from her only hate. How does one console an impossible love? From the stone balcony, Juliet was pining, when suddenly that plucky little monkey, Romeo, came bounding over the walls. Such stony limits cannot hold out love, and what love can do, that dares love attempt. Though few their stolen moments, Romeo and Juliet's hearts were at once fastened. The days passed by, but we weren't aware of their clandestine affair. I noticed nothing unusual. There were expectations that Juliet would become consort to the troupe's top male. So when she spurned the attention of the males in the temple troupe, her family began to worry for her place in society. When Juliet started going off on her own to sulk, like a teenager in love, her behavior roused suspicion. As her cousin, I knew I'd have to keep an eye on Juliet in case there was monkey business going on. Things were heating up with the market monkeys. They were becoming restless. The days were hot, and the mad blood was stirring. As usual, the guards patrolled the boundaries and found all was well. While we were distracted, Juliet slipped out of the temple and made her way to Romeo. The course of true love often runs straight across the road. There were so many new things to explore together. Romeo and Juliet knew it was forbidden love, but that didn't stop them. The childhood of their joy, and love was the sweetest flower of all the field. Back at the temple, we went about our normal business. The troop settled in for the evening, and I put a sentry on duty to keep watch. Across the street, the market monkey showed no signs of trouble. That night, Romeo and Juliet were bold enough to return to the temple to find happy nights to their happy days. But too soon, all this was to change. When the soft light of dawn broke yonder next morn, nobody could have anticipated what would happen next. Romeo and Juliet were still locked in love's embrace. They had spent the night together after their secret rendezvous. It was risky business, bringing an enemy into our territory. When the guard monkeys went about their daily rounds, they sprung the interlopers together, and all hell broke loose. Our troop descended on the villainous Romeo with lightning speed. Such was our pernicious rage. I led the charge on the impudent little traitor, and we drove him out of the temple. What choice did we have but to punish them? Juliet had brought shame on our troop and broken the rule of her prodigious birth. She had fallen in love with a monkey from the wrong side of the road. Once he returned to the market monkeys, Romeo became moody. Taking out his frustration, he and his gang set out to vandalize the town. A path of mass destruction through the streets. The people tried to scare the monkeys away. Juliet watched all this from the fence line. Her rebel lover, Romeo, still the only one she longed for. Torn between loyalty and love, Juliet had a choice to make. Would she leave the temple troop to be with Romeo? None of us understood her stubbornness. We just thought she should settle down and have babies like the rest of us monkeys. Even if the little ones are annoying, breeding is what's expected of all of us. All the other females had their hands full babysitting. And although she didn't mind the youngsters, Juliet had a restless spirit. She yearned for adventure. She didn't want to be like the other monkeys, growing older, but never knowing what lay outside the temple grounds. In comparison, the market monkeys seemed so free. Free to come and go and do as they please. And then, of course, there was Romeo, the wild one. Despite our interjections, Juliet made a bold but foolish move, as fools love makes of us. Little did she realize the risk she was taking when she decided to slink from the temple and meet Romeo in his own domain, crossing over into forbidden territory. Juliet made a bold move and entered the market monkey's domain, traveling on the high wire, It wasn't as easy as it looked. Romeo realized Juliet was coming when he heard her cries. They were reunited with great joy. I had a sense that something wasn't quite right, so I set about patrolling the temple. Searching high and low, I just couldn't find my cousin Juliet anywhere. The dreaded thought that she might have left the protection of the temple grounds never crossed my mind. Surely she wouldn't dare. But Juliet had been swept away by love. She had given no thought to the danger she'd placed herself in, now that she was amongst the market monkeys, the meanest monkey gang that ever existed. When Juliet was spotted by their guards, the alarm went up. We heard the distant cry and knew the worst was happening. Juliet was in trouble. Her only chance of escape was to bolt. Romeo tried to stop his family, but they turned on him. Juliet made it back to the temple safely. We were furious. How dare they attack our Juliet? The temple troop mustered together in retaliation. We needed to teach the market monkeys a lesson. It was time for war. Crossing the road, we erupted on the scene. The troops' mothers and babies watched on from the fence as the battle raged. These violent delights have violent ends. In the chaos that ensued, many monkeys were injured. When the troops withdrew to their divided territory, we licked our war wounds. There were casualties on both sides. also suffered injury during the battle, but the greatest damage came when he was outcast by his own family. The market monkeys no longer wanted a troublemaker amongst them. Romeo was fortune's fool. By courting Juliet of the temple troop, Romeo had broken the rules of our primate society. Banished by his family from the ghetto, his only choice was to skip town. There was no parting, no sweet sorrow. Without an adieu, Romeo set off into the world, broad and wide. He didn't know what lay ahead of him, or if he'd ever see Juliet again. But one thing was for sure: life would never be the same again. The battle with the market monkeys brought bad karma on us all. An ill wind was blowing, bringing with it both a drought and a curse. A plague had descended on our houses. A disease that would make worms meat of us all. Market monkeys were suffering as well. They became sick and scabby, like nothing we'd seen before. God knows what they were carrying. So when the babies in our troop started to die, we were all grief-struck. Juliet blamed herself. And frankly, she was right. The trouble she had caused by falling for Romeo was to bring us all down. Juliet was inconsolable. She sulked alone, pining for Romeo. I also wondered wherefore art Romeo, that mischief maker. Since the monkey war, the people had stopped leaving their scraps for the market monkeys. And with the drought, there was little water. The market monkeys had to scavenge for whatever they could find. They resorted to licking minerals from the brickwork. And from dirt on the street, often risking their lives for meager scraps. As a result, the street gangs were driven to plundering. They would wait like trolls at the bridge, ready to spring on unsuspecting passers-by. And then they descended on the market. Like many Oliver Twists, quick-witted and cunning, the Vandals were hell-bent on troublemaking. Our primate society had descended into chaos after love's mutiny. Cankered with hate since Romeo tried to court our Juliet. The people of Lopburi wouldn't tolerate the street gangs for long. They started carrying guns to deal with those rebellious subjects, enemies of the peace. Anarchy would not be tolerated. Under the rule of the people, life slowly returned to normal. Without Romeo to stir up trouble, the market monkeys settled down. The end of the hostilities brought an end to the curse. Juliet hadn't had contact from Romeo for weeks. There was a rumor that Romeo had been seen leaving town on a train. So Juliet started going down to the railway tracks in the hope he might one day return. But still, no Romeo. She looked for him everywhere. But wherever he was remained a mystery. Of course, I hoped we'd seen the last of Romeo, the troublemaker. But Juliet kept pining. Did he love her, or did he love her not? Had it all just been a dream? All Juliet had now were their memories. When we had our grooming sessions, we tried to include Juliet. We thought the physical distraction might soothe her, but she still had that worried look upon her face. Perhaps Juliet realized that Romeo had entered the place all us city monkeys feared. A place called the Wild. For an urban animal, Romeo must have been scared witless. And when the sun went down, there was nothing but loneliness. the strange creatures that inhabit the night. All things change with the passing of time, but true love grows stronger in the hearts of the faithful. Despite her restlessness, Juliet stayed close to the temple troop. Although she mostly sat on the boundary fence, keeping a lookout for Romeo. Watching the market monkeys carjacking one day gave her an idea. The monkeys would climb into the back of pickup trucks and ride through town, then leap off. She wondered whether she had the pluck to do the same thing. If Romeo wasn't going to come to Juliet, maybe Juliet would have to go to Romeo. In Thailand's town of Lopburi live two troops who are bitter enemies. Fights break out between us feuding monkeys, causing chaos on the streets. To bring our ancient grudge to a close, the humans hatched a cunning plan. They planned an old accustomed feast, whereto were invited many a guest. A party that would end once and for all the bitter quarrel of the monkey clans. All the town of Lopburi came to enjoy the lavish spectacle. 4 tons of food was laid out, a banquet fit for a kingdom of monkeys. Market monkeys entered the temple. And once and for all, we put our differences aside. The feast turned our household's rancor into pure joy, uniting the warring monkeys and making Lopburi a place of peace. It was only later that we discovered during the primate party, Juliet had stolen away. One of the guards had spied her heading out of town on the back of a pickup truck. I guess she surprised us all by becoming a go-get-'em girl. No longer content to wait for love, but ready to go and grab it. We never heard from either of them again. I don't even know whether they found one another. But knowing the determination of their love, I am sure they were reunited. For the temple troupe, life goes on. The babies still play. The mothers still bicker. And the guards still fall asleep on duty. Still, I wonder what happened to Juliet and her Romeo. Sometimes I look to the distant wild and imagine they found happiness in that faraway place. And something tells me they won't be the last of us to be made fools by love.